Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be giving my reactions, giving the highlights and the breakdown of the Xbox conference that was today actually. Yeah, actually it was yesterday for me. It's like 2:30 in the morning right now over here. But yeah, I finally finished writing what I want to say, and this is the video I'm going with. So right off the bat in the Xbox conference, we start off with Halo Infinite. Now, honestly, this is the only proper game in the entire show that showed us gameplay and everything. But other than that, I really didn't think any other game was actually showing proper gameplay, or any of the other games were actually ready to be shown. And I'll talk about that later in the video. Someone is... It's my friend messaging me about Halo actually. Alright, moving on from that. The gameplay that we saw from Halo is pretty much Halo. And I really don't know what more to say. We shoot some enemies with our very recognizable rifle, very recognizable style of a rifle. And we drove the Warthog, and everything pretty much looked good. Well, now the Master Chief Collection obviously came out on Steam, and I pretty much bought it day one. And I have played a few of these games, the ones that have released on PC. I've yet to play Halo 3 actually. So I have finally played these games and I really liked them. And so I'm looking forward for Halo Infinite, and I feel like along with Cyberpunk 2077, this might be the only other game I get this year. Right. Moving on from Halo, as good as that was, the next we got a cinematic trailer kind of thing for State of Decay. So really there was no gameplay, there was nothing, no information, so I won't waste any of my time on this. Next we saw a Forza Motorsport reveal. Now the only interesting thing I can say about this is that it looks pretty, but it's a racing game, and racing games have historically always pushed the graphics in every generation because of the way racing games are actually built. And also the another interesting thing about this game is it's not coming out this year. It's not a 2020 game. It's probably coming out 2021, probably October 2021. We also heard Forza Horizon 4 will be getting a Series X upgrade. So I'm assuming that will be the only proper racing game on Series X. But again, it was just a cinematic trailer with no gameplay, and I'm not going to waste my time on it. So we got another kind of a cinematic gameplay trailer reveal of Everwild. This is a game, I don't really know what this game is about, because can someone seriously see that trailer and watch that trailer and tell me what the game is about, because I don't think anyone can. It looked kind of artistic. It has a very different kind of an art style. That's all I can say about the game, because honestly I don't think we got any gameplay of it. And that brings me to my point about gameplay. Does Xbox seriously does not understand the meaning of gameplay? Do they not understand this? I mean, we saw this same shit happen with the previous Xbox conference, where we got absolutely no gameplay. And we just got these cinematic trailers. And that's a trend that is continuing even in this press conference. And I'm seriously fucking tired of this. Why? If you can't reveal a game, then don't reveal it. If you don't have a game ready, and I'm not saying you need to rush the game, you need to rush the build and show it. No, don't do that. If you're not ready, don't show it then. It is that simple. You don't need to have 1 hour long press conferences where you show basically nothing. Now, moving on from that rant, I move on to the next game that we saw. And this is a game that I'm kind of interested about. Tell me why! Is a game from Don't Nod, and they made Life of Strange, which I loved. I didn't play Life of Strange 2. Life is Strange. I don't know what's wrong with me. Life is Strange 2. I played the other one that they put out, that free one on Steam. I played that. I like that. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward for this game from Don't Nod. Now in terms of gameplay, again we didn't get any gameplay from this, but these games are always more like cinematic with just slight dialogue choices and all that stuff, and just small gameplay mechanics. So I don't really think showing gameplay was much of a priority here, and I didn't really expect much gameplay here. So there's that. Now the next game we saw was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And the most interesting new information. The game looks pretty good. I am very interested in playing this game. But the only new information we got was this game will run at 120 FPS on Series X. And that is excellent. That is brilliant that they are targeting these sort of frame rates, that they have that in the back of their minds, that this is a good step in evolution. But I only have one thing to ask, and one thing only. And I know one of my subscribers plays on consoles. So, which console player has a 120 FPS monitor or a 120 FPS TV? I just want to ask that. Just want to put it out there. I mean, it's good that they're targeting 120 FPS, but ideally, who is that person who has a 120 FPS display and is running a console for that display? Just want to know. Moving on, we are getting 2 story expansions to the Outer Worlds, and one of them is going to come out this year, and this might finally make me want to buy the game. I always wanted to buy it, but it was not on Steam. Hopefully this launches on Steam right around the time the expansions start coming out. If it does, I'll buy it. If it doesn't, well, screw that. I'll buy it whenever it comes on Steam. Because honestly, the biggest problem I have with the Epic Store is that I literally cannot buy games on it because none of my cards actually support those kind of transactions. So yeah, I literally cannot buy from Epic Store. And plus, I actually do not want to buy from Epic Store. So there's that as well. Now, the next game kind of made me laugh. Actually, not kind of, it did make me laugh. So the name is Grounded, and I'll just play this short clip. I'll probably get copyright claimed in this one, but you know what, screw it. Everyone needs to see this. So here it is.
If you're waiting for the biggest game of the year, then wait for Cyberpunk.
So you guys heard what the trailer had to say about itself, and I just want to say, can someone just give this marketing guy of Obsidian a raise? I mean, he did the similar stuff with Bethesda's Fallout as well, because Fallout 76 was getting absolutely bombarded, and they kind of made fun of that as well. And now they are like openly saying like if you want the biggest game of the year, then wait for Cyberpunk. So absolute mad lad right here. So anyway, this is a Obsidian RPG, and it is very small. I mean, seriously, everything is tiny here. From what we saw and what the dev said later, it's basically an Obsidian style narrative in a survival-esque game. So this could be really, really interesting, and I definitely have my eye on it. And now, as is the case with all the Xbox exclusive titles, all of these titles are going to come to PC, and more importantly, all of these titles are coming to Steam, because I think they announced that they have a partnership going on with Steam, and they will support all first-party Xbox titles on Steam. So that is a brilliant thing to do, and that's a brilliant marketing move from them. I just hope Sony follows suit, just so that we can get all the exclusives and we don't have to buy consoles for them. Kind of a PC guy here. I have never owned a console, and I would like to play these games. And from the looks of it, I will get to play this Obsidian RPG. So yeah, the aesthetic is really good. What they showed us looked interesting. There wasn't much gameplay in it. There was some gameplay in it. But overall, yeah, I have my eye on it. And I seriously cannot wait to find the pesky insects and, kill them. Honestly, fuck all the insects. When I mean fuck all the insects, I mean like don't care about them. I don't mean literally do stuff. Never mind, moving on. So Obsidian also showed off yet another game that was Avowed. Is it Avowed? Is it Avowed? I don't know. They probably pronounced it. I should probably look it up, but it's already very late. You know what? It's one of the two. Anyway, so this game pretty much looks like Obsidian's take on Skyrim, just like Outer Worlds was a take on Fallout. Now, kind of. It was not exactly what Fallout was, but yeah. So this does look like there's magic. We have a sword in one hand, magic in the other. It kind of looks like they are trying to take on the Elder Scrolls series, which could be excellent because this is Obsidian we are talking about. And if there's one thing we know about Obsidian is that these guys are fucking brilliant at RPGs. I mean, I have yet to play an RPG made by Obsidian that was shit. I don't care what people think about Fallout New Vegas. I loved it. So there's that. So again, we didn't get much gameplay and it does look like it's very early in development, which would kind of make sense. I mean, they just made DLCs for Outer Worlds. They are making this other game Grounded. So probably this game is going to launch maybe 2021, 2022. We don't know. Now the next game was labeled as Dusk Falls. Now again, this was a cinematic sort of a trailer, but I don't really know what this game is. Like, I have literally no idea. So I'll move on quickly from this one. Moving on to the next game, that is Hellblade 2. Now, still we don't get any gameplay for this game. We got a cinematic trailer during the Game Awards. We got a kind of the same trailer with some cut sections of the same trailer in this one. And I loved the first game. So I am really interested to play this, but so far we haven't seen anything, so I doubt this is coming out this year or even early next year. I am assuming it's probably going to be an October-November 2021 title. So there's that. Now we did get a trailer for Psychonauts 2 as well. So it's a nice trailer. Jack Black was in it singing. We did get some gameplay sequences. I have never played the original, so I cannot really comment on how this game is going to flow and everything and all that. But it did look interesting enough for me to at least try it out. Maybe I will try it out. Maybe I'll try it out on this channel. Now, Destiny 2 is getting a new expansion on November 10, and they did reveal some interesting things about Xbox. One huge thing is that they are giving the xCloud service for free to the guys who have the Game Pass Ultimate. And I just feel like if there was one final nail on the coffin for Google Stadia, it's this. I mean, if you have a well-established console, a well-established player base, and they are offering this for the Ultimate passes, the Game Passes, it's a brilliant deal. It's an absolutely good, excellent deal. And yeah, just go for it. And Stadia is just stupid at this point. Right, so Destiny is getting a new expansion on November 10th. I might try to play that. I still haven't completed Destiny's main campaign. Maybe I'll do that as well on the channel. There is so much stuff I have to play. Now, Stalker 2, again, it was just a cinematic trailer. Nothing really to talk about here. Warhammer Dark Tide, again, a cinematic trailer with no gameplay. I have said why I just hate these kind of reveals. And I am not going to talk about this again. Now the next one, we actually did get some gameplay. It was Tetris Connected. So basically this is Tetris multiplayer and we did get some gameplay. So yeah, good job there. We at least got some gameplay for a game that we have known the gameplay for since we were, 2 years old? But anyway, at least they showed off some gameplay. So that's good on them. Now, the next game that I'm talking about actually did grab some of my interest. Now, and this one also showed off some gameplay. Now, that is a goddamn miracle at this point because honestly, with about 10-15 games that we saw, none of them had any gameplay. Like literally none of them had any gameplay whatsoever. And this was a good change of pace. We did see some of the gameplay. We saw basically a girl with a vacuum cleaner kind of sucking in the gunk, opening up routes. It could be a good puzzle type of game. It's third person. That's what I saw. I like third person games, so this is right up my alley. Maybe I'll try this. You know, especially with the shit the developers seem to be pulling with the AAA games, I might just be more interested in the indie titles. Like seriously, I have discussed this in my previous video about, you know, Ubisoft doing very stupid fucking things. Really, you know, why not play these games? These are much cheaper. Then there are a few older games that I still haven't played. I might try to play those. If I'm having fun with those games, then why bother getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Watch Dogs Legion when they are the same cookie cutter bullshit gameplay that we have seen for the past how many years now? Seriously, 12 years, no innovation whatsoever. So yeah, I'm more looking forward to these sorts of games more than these AAA games. And you might probably see a shift in the kind of content that I'm putting out in my channel from this point on. Now, the another game that we saw was The Medium. And no, this has nothing to do with the Insidious series. We don't talk about that. But this does seem to have some horror elements on it, some supernatural elements on it, and it looks to be some sort of a detective game. So essentially, you are a detective who is investigating the murder of this one girl, and you go into the supernatural elements of it. Again, no gameplay here. Maybe there was some sort of gameplay because we saw our character cutting into something, character getting pinned down. So maybe we saw a bit of gameplay, we just don't know it yet. I don't know what the gameplay will look like in this game, but again, I was expecting more of a reveal from these games. But it looks interesting, and I'll keep an eye out for more news from this game. Then we got a game from Sega, Fantasy Star Online 2, with a PH instead of an F. So now, I never played the first game. For me, it looks like a sci-fi monster hunter. Now, feel free to correct my ignorance down in the comments below. I really know nothing about this franchise. It looks cool. Maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. I'll actually wait for the reviews and stuff. So the next game to be revealed was Crossfire. Now, we did get bits and pieces of gameplay in this trailer. And honestly, that's more than most games. But when I looked at the trailer, it looked like a pretty generic game to me. Now, I could be wrong. It could turn out that it's a hidden gem, like something like, Spec Ops The Line. A game like that looks pretty generic, but the game itself is pretty good. But right now, it just looks like a standard sci-fi Call of Duty. Hell, when the trailer was actually playing, all I thought was, why the hell is Activision revealing Call of Duty here? That was my first thought. But this is made by Remedy. They haven't really let me down yet, and I am willing to give them the benefit of the doubt in this case. Because Remedy has made some excellent games over the years. Some of my favorite games of all time over the years. And yeah, they do deserve that benefit of the doubt. They do deserve it. So yeah, I'll look forward for this game. Maybe it's a generic shooter. Even if it's a generic shooter, it could be a good one. So maybe I'll buy that instead of some shitty game like Call of Duty or Battlefield. Yeah, that's about it from that game. So yeah, the next game that we saw was Fable, and this, I would just like to say, this was very much like a Elder Scrolls 6 kind of a reveal, because we literally just saw a sword, we saw some landscapes, and we saw a pixie getting eaten by a frog. So I don't know what to make of that. So yeah, that was pretty funny to me. Now, it might be disturbing to some people, but it was funny to me. I may have a sixth sense of humor. I cannot get my words straight. Seriously, I cannot get my words straight. Sixth sense of humor. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I guess we already know more about Fable than we do about the next Elder Scrolls, because yeah, I mean, it showed a pixie getting eaten by a frog. That is information for me. That is valuable information about the game, in my eyes. Yeah, moving on. So that is it. Still, we know fuck all about the launch date of Xbox Series X. No confirmation about the very much rumored Series S, the cheaper version of the console. And so far, no pricing either. At this point, I think they are just going to wait till November, because it is pretty obvious that Sony and Xbox are kind of hesitant to say the price, because I feel the consoles are going to be really expensive this time, and they are just waiting for someone to pull the plug. And I think this waiting game is going to go on till November, and they are just going to like, yeah, the consoles are out, go buy it. Probably something like that. I don't know. Overall, it was a good show. I mean, okay, it was not a good show. It was an average show. We saw gameplay of basically one game. We saw bits and pieces in 3 other games, and otherwise it was just cinematic trailers. So yeah, not much gameplay at all. Not many big titles, the big AAA titles per se. But we did get more information on Halo, and I see that as an absolute win. So moving on from all of that, if you like this video, press the like button. It really helps me out. It helps my morale as well. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I have more videos coming out. I will probably cover some of these games. I will probably start playing Halo in this channel. And I have a video coming out of comparing two of the biggest franchises and two of the best franchises in gaming. Like literally, they are the absolute best, no doubt. Absolutely no one can disagree with me on that. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. That will come pretty soon. And uh, I cannot say this with a straight face. And just peace.